Thank you for joining me today. It's Brian Gubernick, and welcome to the No Days Off podcast, where we believe that every single day brings a new opportunity to get better. When you hear blue collar, when you hear the term blue collar, you probably think of someone in steel-toed boots with a hard hat on, maybe working construction or maybe in a factory. But that's not necessarily where the term started. The term blue collar actually started in the early 1900s. And it started because workers wore a durable, like blue denim shirt that would hide grease and would hide dirt. Over time, this term blue collar came to represent not just the type of work, but also a mindset. This mindset of being gritty, of being tough, of doing the essential work that doesn't usually make the headlines, but it actually is the work that keeps everything moving forward. That's what I want to talk about today. The blue collar days, the days that don't make your highlight reel, but without them, you don't even get a highlight reel. Now, this was inspired by a book. James Lawrence is the name of the guy, the Iron Cowboy. I talked about him the other day in his new book, Iron Hope. He describes blue collar days, and I had to dive a little bit deeper into the concept because I really liked it. And so he inspired today's episode because blue collar days are just important. Success, as you know, if you're listening to the No Days Off podcast and you're a regular here, you know success is not built in moments of applause. It's actually built in the long, quiet stretches where you have to show up and you have to grind it out and you have to stay committed even when no one's watching, no one's clapping for you. I think the blue collar days are when you refine your craft. I think you learn patience and you learn to build momentum. If you think about sports, and you know I like to use a lot of sports analogies, but if you think about a championship team, sure, you get to see that trophy presentation, you get to see that victory parade. But where's the game actually won? The game in most sports is really won in the weight room. It's won in practice. It's won during the 6 a.m. sessions when the cameras aren't rolling. It's won in the off-season training sessions when no one's really paying attention to the sport. Well, same with business, in my opinion. Same with leadership, same with sales. You don't get the win without putting in the work. Sales is a good area of business to talk about because in sales, I think the blue collar days can be really brutal from time to time. It's the day where you make 100 calls and no one picks up. It's sitting down and sending out follow-up emails to old leads who totally ghosted you, and doing it carefully, not just blasting something lazy. It's standing at in real estate sales, it's standing at an open house on a slow weekend, making small talk with neighbors who aren't going to be buying, who aren't going to be selling, but you have to treat every interaction like it matters. It's updating your database system, your CRM at night when everyone else is watching Netflix, so that 3 months from now you can land a deal because you stayed organized. I think blue collar days in leadership look very similar. As a leader, your blue collar days are incredibly crucial. It's doing the one-to-one meetings every single week, even when your team member says, "Hey, I'm good. I've got nothing to talk about." Or it's writing the agendas for meetings that you could have just winged, but you know that the standard actually matters. It's coaching someone on your team or in your company who's struggling, celebrating the tiny wins that nobody else even notices because you're trying to build momentum. And I think it's reinforcing the company culture in small moments, praising effort and not just the results. Knowing that the culture isn't built at retreats or in keynote speeches. Sure, they help. That's not where the culture is built. It's built one small conversation at a time. If you think about your favorite athletes, you think about your favorite business leaders or entrepreneurs, I can guarantee you this. They didn't fall in love with just the awards or the accolades. They found a way to love the work. They had to have found the way to love the work, to put in that much time. They embraced these blue collar days, even when it was boring, even when it was repetitive, even when it was thankless. And I think the truth is, the people who stay loyal to their blue collar days, they don't just win. They outlast everyone else who was waiting to feel motivated before showing up. I think that's the difference. That's how championships, that's how successful lives, successful relationships, healthy people, I think that's how these things are built. That's how they're built. It's a great quote. The champions are not made in arenas. Champions are made in empty gyms, cold mornings, and quiet evenings when no one is watching. I think you can attribute this sentiment to lots of different athletes. They have all learned this, that champions are not made in arenas, but they're made in the empty gyms and the cold mornings and the quiet evenings. You've probably lived that yourself if you've had some degree of success. So, as we wind down today, I want you to think about your blue collar days. I want you to think about all of the work you have to put in between these moments of success, between these highlights. Here's your challenge. I want to give you this challenge for the week. Pick one task that feels boring, but it's necessary. Make that your own blue collar work. Now commit to doing that task daily for, let's say, the next 5 days. No fanfare, no excuses. Commit to doing that task, the one that feels boring, but it's necessary, your blue collar work. Commit to doing it daily for the next 5 days, whether that's making follow-up calls or it's reviewing team performance or it's sending gratitude notes, whatever it is, embrace it. Embrace it fully. Then I want you to watch how stacking those small, maybe invisible wins changes your momentum. Because if you master the blue collar days, I think the highlight moments start to take care of themselves. That's all I have for you today. The No Days Off podcast. Thank you so much for listening. And remember, every single day brings a new opportunity to get better. So let's get after it.